Home. Connor wonders how he can call the place he lives home when he's about to be evicted, not just from the place he sleeps, but from the hearts of those who are supposed to love him. His father sits in a chair watching the news as Connor enters. "Hi, Dad." His father points at some random carnage on the news. Clappers again. What did they hit this time? They blew up an Old Navy in the North Akron Mall. Says Connor. You'd think they'd have better taste. I don't find that funny. Connor's parents don't know that Connor knows he's being unwound. He wasn't supposed to find out, but Connor has always been good at ferreting out secrets. 3 weeks ago, while looking for a stapler in his dad's home office, he found airplane tickets to the Bahamas. They were going on a family vacation over Thanksgiving. One problem, though, there were only 3 tickets. His mother, his father, his younger brother. No ticket for him. At first, he just figured the ticket was somewhere else, but the more he thought about it, the more it seemed wrong. So Connor went looking a little deeper when his parents were out, and he found it. The Unwind order. It had been signed in old-fashioned triplicate. The white copy was already gone, off with the authorities. The yellow copy would accompany Connor to his end. And the pink would stay with his parents as evidence of what they'd done. Perhaps they would frame it and hang it alongside his first-grade picture. The date on the order was the day before the Bahamas trip. He was going off to be unwound, and they were going on vacation to make themselves feel better about it. The unfairness of it had made Connor want to break something. It had made him want to break a lot of things, but he hadn't. For once, he had held his temper, and aside from a few fights in school that weren't his fault, he kept his emotions hidden. He kept what he knew to himself. Everyone knew that an Unwind order was irreversible, so screaming and fighting wouldn't change a thing. Besides, he found a certain power in knowing his parents' secret. Now the blows he could deal them were so much more effective. Like the day he brought flowers home for his mother, and she cried for hours. Like the B+ he brought home on a science test, best grade he ever got in science. He handed it to his father, who looked at it, the color draining from his face. "See, Dad, my grades are getting better. I could even bring my science grade up to an A by the end of the semester." An hour later, his father was sitting in a chair, still clutching the test in his hand and staring blankly at the wall. Connor's motivation was simple. Make them suffer. Let them know for the rest of their lives what a horrible mistake they made. But there was no sweetness to this revenge, and now 3 weeks of rubbing it in their faces has made him feel no better. In spite of himself, he's starting to feel bad for his parents, and he hates that he feels that way. "Did I miss dinner?" His father doesn't look away from the TV. "Your mother left a plate for you." Connor heads off toward the kitchen, but halfway there he hears, "Connor?" He turns to see his father looking at him, not just looking, but staring. He's going to tell me now, Connor thinks. He's going to tell me they're unwinding me, and then break down in tears, going on and on about how sorry he is about it all. If he does, Connor might just accept the apology. He might even forgive him, and then tell him that he doesn't plan to be here when the juvie cops come to take him away. But in the end, all his father says is, "Did you lock the door when you came in?" "I'll do it now." Connor locks the door, then goes to his room, no longer hungry for whatever it is his mother saved for him. At 2 in the morning, Connor dresses in black and fills a backpack with the things that really matter to him. He still has room for 3 changes of clothes. He finds it amazing when it comes down to it, how few things are worth taking. Memories mostly. Reminders of a time before things went so wrong between him and his parents. Between him and the rest of the world. Connor peeks in on his brother, thinks about waking him to say goodbye, and then decides it's not a good idea. He silently slips out into the night. He can't take his bike because he had installed an anti-theft tracking device. Connor never considered that he might be the one stealing it. Ariana has bikes for both of them, though. Ariana's house is a 20-minute walk if you take the conventional route. Suburban Ohio neighborhoods never have streets that go in straight lines, so instead he takes the more direct route through the woods and makes it there in 10. The lights in Ariana's house are off. He expected this. It would have been suspicious if she had stayed awake all night. Better to pretend she's sleeping, so she won't alert any suspicion. He keeps his distance from the house. Ariana's yard and front porch are equipped with motion sensor lights that come on whenever anything moves into range. They're meant to scare off wild animals and criminals. Ariana's parents are convinced that Connor is both. He pulls out his phone and dials the familiar number. From where he stands in the shadows at the edge of the backyard, he can hear it ring in her room upstairs. Connor disconnects quickly and ducks farther back into the shadows, for fear that Ariana's parents might be looking out from their windows. What is she thinking? Ariana was supposed to leave her phone on vibrate. He makes a wide arc around the edge of the backyard, wide enough not to set off the lights. And although a light comes on when he steps onto the front porch, only Ariana's bedroom faces that way. She comes to the door a few moments later, opening it not quite wide enough for her to come out of, or for him to go in. "Hi, are you ready?" asks Connor. Clearly she's not. She wears a robe over satin pajamas. "You didn't forget, did you?" No, I didn't forget." "So hurry up. The sooner we get out of here, the more of a lead we'll have before anyone knows we're gone." "Connor," she says, "here's the thing." And the truth is right there in her voice, in the way it's such a strain for her to even say his name. The quiver of apology lingering in the air like an echo. She doesn't have to say anything after that because he knows. But he lets her say it anyway, because he sees how hard it is for her, and he wants it to be. He wants it to be the hardest thing she's ever done in her life. "Connor, I really want to go. I do. But it's just really a bad time for me. My sister's getting married, and you know she picked me to be the maid of honor, and then there's school. You hate school. You said you'd be dropping out when you turned 16. "Testing out," she says. "There's a difference." "So you're not coming?" "I want to. I really, really want to, but I can't." "So everything we talked about was just a lie?" "No," says Ariana, "it was a dream. Reality got in the way and all. That's all. And running away doesn't solve anything." "Running away is the only way to save my life," Connor hisses. "I'm about to be unwound, in case you forgot." She gently touches his face. "I know," she says, "but I'm not." Then a light comes on at the top of the stairs, and reflexively Ariana closes the door a few inches. "Ari?" Connor hears her mother say. "What is it? What are you doing at the door?" Connor backs up out of view, and Ariana turns to look up the stairs. "Nothing, Mom. I thought I saw a coyote from my window, and I just wanted to make sure the cats weren't out." "The cats are upstairs, honey. Close the door and get back to bed." "So I'm a coyote?" says Connor. "Shh," says Ariana, closing the door until there's just a tiny slit, and all he can see is the edge of her face and a single violet eye. "You'll get away. I know you will. Call me once you're somewhere safe." Then she closes the door. Connor stands there for the longest time until the motion sensor light goes out. Being alone had not been part of his plan, but he realizes it should have been. From the moment his parents signed those papers, Connor was alone.